supposed to help plants grow. So even better for our seeds, the radio has been on for most of the time while this experiment's been running. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop my violin down and we're going to see how the experiment worked. How exciting! Okay, so the song I played asked the question, is there life on Mars? Well, we know at the moment the answer is no, not unless you count robots, and they're technically not really alive. So we are taking life with us to Mars, and we need to see how the plants in our hydroponic spay are going. Now, if you remember last lesson, we set up our hydroponic spay and we had different coloured lights to see how the cress would grow. So let's take a look and remind ourselves that we had white light and we had red light, yellow light, green light and blue light. Okay, so you can see the white light, the red light, the green light, the blue light and the yellow light. Okay, and we're going to see what happened. I haven't looked yet. I've been really good. I've been popping some water in my little flask and watering them just by putting it on the paper. I've not actually looked, so I'm really excited to see. So, first of all, you can actually see that the cress has germinated, and you can see it on the paper, the bits that weren't covered, and they've started to grow. So the first one we're going to look under is our control one, our white light. So I'm going to turn off the white light. Incidentally, putting the water on was quite fun because, of course, water and electricity don't mix. So I had to be really, really careful while watering the plants. So let's take a look. So this is what they look like under the white light. Now, if you remember, the white light was our control. So we'd want them to be better than that to change the colour. Okay, so this is what the growth should look like. I think the next most popular colour, so you were telling me which colours you thought, was blue. So I'm not going to turn off the lights yet because otherwise I'm going to forget which colour was which. So let's take a look at blue. I'm going to remove my lights from the yogurt pot. Come on out. Incidentally, I think the most interesting answer for why blue was going to work best is because of the fact it had a higher frequency, so it might be giving more energy to the plants. Let's take a look. Well, they've germinated. But they don't really look quite as healthy, do they? If you look at them, let's separate some of these out. So the green is looking, I don't know, it's looking good. Looking good. We would have to do a taste test, really. But I'm not sure that blue is almost as good, but not quite as good as white. Oh, some of these are looking good. Okay. Next best one was yellow, and one of the explanations I liked was because the sun is yellow and therefore plants are used to yellow. So let's see if yellow has done any good. So here we go with yellow. Oh wow, that's done really well, hasn't it? So let's just take a look at this. We can see it's grown really well. Pretty much everything's germinated. It's smelling really cressy. We've done really well with this one. But some of the heads are bending downwards. And our control one, the heads were all pointing up. So does that mean that yellow's much good or not? We will be picking a best one, don't worry. So the next popular one was red, because red is the warmest colour, I saw one person explaining. And that's a really good explanation, and that's bringing us all the way back to our electromagnetic spectrum again. So we've been talking about wavelengths and frequencies, and now we're remembering that red is next to infrared. And it's warm, so let's take a look. Ooh, these ones if we compare these to, if we compare them, these ones I think have actually grown a little bit higher. So our red ones have grown a bit higher. None of the colours though are quite as dark as these ones. So anyway, the last one, the green one, we weren't expecting this to do very well, and it will be a test of the experiment. If these have done pretty much the same as all the others, then the experiment hasn't worked. But the green one shouldn't work very well because of course the plants reflect the green light and absorb all the other frequencies. So our green one, as you were all able to tell me, should have been the least best one. And let's take a look. They've actually done quite well, haven't they? These are looking really good. I might go so far to say as the experiment was not that much of a success, because this one should have been the worst one, and it's done pretty well. Oh, no it hasn't. When you look at it, some of the leaves are starting to die. So they were getting the heat, and they were probably getting a bit of light, but the leaves are going brown. They're not quite working. Oh, that's a relief. So it didn't work brilliantly, but it did show us that green, the plants haven't done as well, because I'm just going to show you this one in particular. Okay, you can see that the leaves are going brown. Okay, so the leaves are starting to die. So the green one, although it looked like it was growing okay, and the bits that escaped are growing okay, these ones weren't doing so well after all. So which one was the best one? White light, blue light, yellow light, red light, or green light? The green light ones have started to die. The yellow light ones, there is a little bit of brown on them and the leaves are pointing down. The red light has grown a little bit taller than the white light. And the blue light, the blue light looks like it's done not so bad. Again, but there's a little bit of brown on the leaves as well. So I would say white light was pretty good, red light was good, yellow light was good. And I'd want to repeat these experiments with a slightly more controlled manner. So I'd make sure the white light was the same type of LED as the red and yellow light, and I would make sure that my children didn't get excited about the experiments and keep wanting to look at them as well, because I had to keep chasing them off. So I would control it a little bit more. But that's interesting. It didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped, but it did work. You can see here, these are the ones that were grown in all the different lights, and actually they look the healthiest of all, don't they? Oh well, that's our experiment sorted. So can you now please answer the questions about the experiment and tell me if your hypothesis was correct or not, and why, and give reasons for that. And I will see you again in another video very shortly.